Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. Today we have a special but unfortunate podcast to do today as we pay tribute to the late, great Kevin Conroy, who was without doubt, in most people's minds, the greatest Batman that ever was. I'm here with cousin Cheeto, Wesley White, also known as Marcus, I will be referring to as both, and D Jose. How you guys doing?
Um,
Good.
this is one of those videos that I think all four of us can honestly say we wish we didn't have to make because it's very unfortunate that this had to happen when it did. But we're here to honor the life of Kevin Conroy, the arguably the greatest Batman of all time.
For sure. For sure. His death does come out of the blue. Not many people was we never like even heard about him being ill or anything along those particular lines. And next, he did pass away. Kevin Conroy leaves a legacy when it comes to voice work. Unlike many others, he without doubt was the voice of Batman. He rejuvenated Batman, in my opinion, more than Tim Burton did with the animated series. He basically took some of the themes from what Tim Burton brought and then took it to another level with countless episodes of Batman, as well as video games, and as well as being involved in other voice work in other shows, and as well as playing Batman once on the CW. Cousin Cheeto, please let me know how you feel right now.
I mean, it's Kevin Conroy. It's the Batman. It is the Batman from the animated series. It's the Batman from the Arkham games. Almost anything that Kevin Conroy touched in regards to Batman, was just a banger. I mean, I know he did some other smaller projects and stuff like that, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in a little bit. But I mean, this is the Batman. This is the guy we grew up with on our TV screens, the animated series. Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, like just that Batman and Joker, just there's no replacing them. There's no, in my opinion, there's no more iconic Batman or Joker. And you ask a lot of people, who's your favorite Batman? You say Kevin Conroy. There's a lot of people say, oh, no live action. They're like, Kevin Conroy. You know what I mean? Like they don't care that they're talking, that it's animated. He is Batman. He is the quintessential Batman that we all know, and not even across just one show. Like it's not even just the animated series. He did a ton of DC animated movies for DC. He did video games. He did kids shows under Batman. He did just so much stuff under the moniker of Batman that it's just, honestly, to me, and I don't know, people may throw shade, but this feels like as big a death as, well, almost as big a death as Stanley, which Wesley White pointed out to me earlier was literally his death was the day before Stanley died 4 years ago. So today, I think what do we say? Today was 4 years ago. Was Stanley's
it's 4
passing?
years. Yep, 4 years
So
exactly.
November just likes to take and take, and it's through November.
Eddie
I'm not
Guerrero.
thankful.
Eddie Guerrero's death is tomorrow, so it's like, man, it's like, wow.
Dude, November just likes to take, man. They don't give us much to be thankful for. So anyway, I'll pass it on to whoever wants to take it next.
Well, 1 second first. First of all, welcome, Cara Hughes. Yeah, he was the Batman, the one and only, as far as I was concerned. Yeah, I think for most people too, especially like people who are like of our age bracket as well. I might add as well. I mean, there'll be some people who's older than us will probably think of Adam West. But I think a lot of people, regardless of Michael Keaton, a lot of people got a real hard on for Michael Keaton. I don't. But yeah, definitely Kevin Conroy. Wesley White. It's been a long time since I've seen you, mate. Not since the fan film we watched of yours back in the day. How you doing? And what have you got to say about the latest Kevin Conroy?
I'm doing all right, thanks. I was like shocked finding out about him dying too, but it's sad. But I mean, he left behind a legacy. He's been Batman for like 31 years because the production of Batman miniseries is 91, so you add that. But when you think of Batman, when you read the comics and stuff, you just read Kevin Conroy's voice, and just like Cousin Cheeto pointed out, like he is the Batman. When you think of Batman, you think of Kevin Conroy, you think of that voice. He still did things. He was on
started on the animated series, did the Arkham games. He's done many different versions of Batman for the animated DC universes. He's even done stuff for the What's New Scooby-Doo and all that stuff. And he still continue to do things. So, I mean, he's left behind a huge legacy of being Batman. And it's awesome that I got to hear that. We all got to hear that voice for 30 years, most of our lives, probably.
Yeah, I have to say that just before I pass it on to Jose, like the way I marked out when I heard him in the Arkham game, like just to know that they're bringing back Kevin Conroy, because there was a time where we just thought that he would only solely be in the animated shows, and then boom, now he's in video games too. Not just the Arkham games, Injustice as well, I believe. He was in that as well. Absolutely fantastic. His legacy it goes to several generations. Jose.
Yeah, this one hurts. This is the biggest death, and this is a death that I'm not ashamed to admit that I cried over, because it was one of those where it was like you read about it, you didn't want to believe that it happened, but it did. But I'm going to go on record of saying, I'm a 90s child, and if you take out Nickelodeon, this is a hot take that I have, Batman the Animated Series could seriously stand up to any cartoon from that time and seriously be considered as one of, if not the greatest cartoons of all time. It's that good. I love the animated series that much. And one of my greatest regrets is never getting to meet Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, and Tara Strong, because they were my introduction to Batman. And it's just sad to know that he's gone now, and I'm going to miss him, and I look forward to going back and rewatching the animated series and all the other things that he voiced in as Batman. And I look forward to going back to replay the Arkham games. I look at it as my small way of paying tribute to Mark Hamill, or I look at it as a small way of paying tribute to Kevin Conroy. I'm going to miss him.
Kara Hughes has just left us a couple of things here. So he left behind a fantastic legacy. It's just not just all for 6. That's the problem. Just thought he'd go for at least another 50 years. I wet buckets. Made my husband put my Batman animated series episodes on for sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure people will be binging the hell out of that for the next few days. Jose, I wish I had the chance to meet him too. Don't we all?
Yeah.
Like he's one of those heroes I think I would like to meet for sure. Him and Mark Hamill. My goodness.
What, Wesley? Did you have a chance to meet him? I can't remember. I don't know if you ever had a chance to meet him or not.
Me, I never met him.
Oh, okay. I do. Just one thing I wanted to add on there is that I forgot to mention when I was talking. He did die from intestinal cancer.
Oh.
He had been battling that. I thought I read somewhere for 3 years, but I mean it's probably been a couple years that he's been battling that. So I mean it's it's the private life. It's kind of like Chadwick Boseman. You know what I mean? Like it's speaking of with recent media with Black Panther coming out. Nobody knew he was sick really until his passing. So it is definitely a also a nudge, basically saying, look, we need to let these people have their own personal lives. We don't know what struggles they're going through. And
also I think it'd be a good way to say, get yourself checked for real. Get yourselves checked out, because you never know.
Yeah, we're not here forever.
Yeah, if you feel something's not right, it's important to get checked.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to share a story between me and Wesley. Well, not between us, but that involves me and Wesley, because on this channel, you've probably heard me mention from time to another about me having nerd nights, and it's where we get together and we watch superhero stuff. And when we started that way back, and it's probably been about a decade, I think. When we started that, we got together and we watched Batman the Animated Series. That was the first thing we binge watched. Batman the Animated Series all the way through, and then Nerd Night's kind of been going on since then. Like once we got through Batman the Animated Series, we started Superman. I don't know if we made it to Justice League or not, but then we started watching the CW shows with Arrow and Flash and all those other things. And just so, I mean, essentially Nerd Nights for me are because of Batman the Animated Series with my buddy down there, Wesley. So it's. And I think, didn't we start it on New Year's night one night? Like, wasn't it New Year's night?
I believe so.
Yeah. It's got to be close to a decade, man. We're old. Although you're still looking young for some reason.
Don't crack. That's why.
Yep.
But yeah. But I just want to say, like, there's been a lot of people who'd like to imitate Kevin Conroy's style, because there have been other Batmans after Conroy. I think Arkham Origin.
Roger
Arkham
Craig Smith is the only one that can probably sound almost like him, but not entirely. Like he almost gets him, but not quite.
Yeah, and same with like Mark Hamill's the Joker. I've noticed there's people who try to copy his style, but obviously are not him. It makes me wonder what's the point of hiring these actors who are not who are not Hamill or Conroy, but make them want to sound like Conroy. Are they cheaper? Is that why you're doing it? I mean, it's very unusual, but it seems that everybody. Oops, goddamn bird! I'm so sorry. I apologize. But yeah, it feels like, you know, those guys are now the template of what it means to be Batman and Joker, for sure. And you know, anything else is just a pretender. I mean, it's all good when you're doing live action. You could be a bit different here and there. You know, you can get away with things. But I think when it comes to animated and when it comes to video games, that's what people want now. You know, I mean, they pretty much want that. You know, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So outside of the animated series, as I said earlier, he did do video games as well. And for me, having his voice, as well as Mark Hamill's, as well as Tara Strong as well, involved in those video games, really gave it new life, so to speak. It got old people, young people, to know who the real Batman is, as well as the real Joker and the real the real Harley Quinn, and it gave us older lads some nostalgia bait. Yes, the P501. Yeah, I could cry too. It's highly emotional.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even just those as well. I mean, people go on about the animated series, but it seems like Justice League Unlimited, you know, and Justice League as well. Like just hearing, you know, Kevin Conroy's Batman mingling with Superman, and even the person who I'm sorry, the name of the guy actor, the voice actor who does Superman, he's got a very distinctive style as well. He seems to be somebody I've heard on many occasions. But hearing him interact with all these different superhero characters and stuff like that, this Batman from the animated series, it just felt so right. And then obviously seeing it in games like Injustice as well. Now, Cheetah, I was wondering if you could just bring up a little list of some of the stuff he's done outside of Batman.
Well, I mean, his first credit to acting was back in 1978, which was How to Pick Up Girls. He was a bartender on a television show. But other than that, I mean, there's some other things in here that I don't know about. Like I'm not sure about. But obviously, there's really popular ones like Matlock and Cheers.
He was in Cheers.
Yeah, he was on Cheers. He was on there for 2 episodes, named Daryl Mead. No idea who that is. I didn't watch Cheers very much. I was too young to watch Cheers. And then actually the year he started doing Batman the Animated Series, he did Rachel Gunn RN, which I don't know if that's a nurse or something else. Secret Passion of Robert Clayton, and Battle of Erogenous Zone. That might be a little bit interesting. But then after that, it's just like, you know, a lot of it is he also did the Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. He did a version of a show called The Office, which is not The Office that we all know of. It was a 5-episode run on CBS back in '95. The Adventures of Captain Planet.
Love that show.
Yeah, I mean, and
the
all
power
the
is yours. Yeah, I mean, loved it.
It's actually funny. He in the Batman animated show, he played, because he's been involved in Batman projects, even not as Bruce Wayne Batman. There's a couple like the Batman. He was John Grayson, which I'm assuming is Dick Grayson's father, in the Batman. He was on Ben 10.
That's unusual.
Yeah, he also played in one of the movies. Let me find it here. I was looking at it earlier. In one of the movies, he played Thomas Wayne in Batman versus Robin, which is a DC Universe animated movie. He played Thomas Wayne. He played his own father, which somebody else was playing Batman at that point. He was also in I mean, there's just a ton here. A lot of it is Batman. There's some video game stuff that he did as well. He did. He was in Max Payne 2, Jack and Daxter, the Precursor's Legacy as a fisherman. A little underutilized there, I think, but okay.
Yeah, Cara who says, yeah, he was when Dick Grayson's parents were killed.
Okay.
Quiet you.
He was also in the new Masters of the Universe TV shows, the animated. He played two different characters on both of those shows. Well, he played one character on each of those shows because Mark Hamill was involved. So of course he's going to call his boy Kevin Conroy up to do some voice acting.
Yeah,
There's
Mark
one
was
more that I
joking
want.
Yeah,
and I mean, there's just a plethora of little things here outside of that. But I mean, the guy's a freaking legend, when it comes to voice acting. I mean,
I just want to quickly just throw in that, Bruce Wayne and Batman, they are two different characters the way he portrayed them, because his voice work as Bruce Wayne, very subtle, very laid back, almost comedic to a degree. And he never really got to play Bruce Wayne that much because he was always in the bloody cape, doing the growling voice of Batman. But it kind of shows you the level of his skills as a voice actor, being able to really give distinctive tones to one character with two different voices. It almost felt like when he was Bruce Wayne that he had to make his voice sound different as Bruce Wayne, if Bruce Wayne was a real person, and he really just sounds like a grumpy fuck as Batman, so very much appreciated that for sure.
And I mean, not to mention also just the way that the Arkham games just changed the landscape of video games. I mean, let's be real. Arkham Asylum basically just bulldozed over everything that came out prior to that. And it was the game, like that game all around was good. Gameplay, story, final boss, okay, a little weak. But like you had Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy back. And that was, as Zam said earlier, that is one of the biggest things right there, is when people saw Kevin Conroy was a part of this project, everybody knew that he would not come back to tarnish the name of Batman. So, it was very, very good. Go ahead, DH.
And then to add to that, you take Arkham City, which that just like amplified it and made the series so much better. Because it was just like you got to play as Catwoman, you got to play as Robin, and it's like, here's how I look at it. Like Arkham Asylum had the best atmosphere out of any Arkham game I've ever seen, because you learn so much about like Arkham Island, and you learn about the history of like the Joker and Harley Quinn and all these other characters. And then City just takes it and amplified it with the gameplay and the side quests and the characters, and it's
the
just
scope.
The scope, it's just. And then
So
Arkham Knight,
hovering.
and then Arkham Knight, there might have been too much of the Batmobile, but it was still a really good game for what it was. And everyone needs to play those three games if you're a Batman fan. 100%.
Yeah, for sure. I just remember like seeing the trailer, and then it's funny way because these are the words people use against Batman, but you see Batman grabbing some guy by the throat and he goes to him, "Who are you?" And then you hear it's Kevin Conroy's voice on that trailer. I'm like,
and you're like,
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, you turn back into
Batman.
You turn back into that little kid and you get all giddy. You're like, yeah, okay, yeah, awesome.
And it's so, what's so funny, is that I'm not sure if you guys met my mate Ray. Like we both saw that trailer together, and he said to me, "God, that's a terrible Batman voice." I'm thinking, what? I'm thinking, what are you on about, man? That's Kevin Conroy. That's
the Batman.
That's the Batman. Oh, I'm thinking, mate, you've been under a rock. I just want to quickly read a comment here. Cara who says there are even incidences when he's in the cape and cowl, answers the phone as Batman. I think she means Batman, and sounds different. That was so clever. I can't remember if I've seen that before, if it was from an audiobook where he was dressed up as Batman, but he was talking on the phone as Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And BW means Bruce Wayne. Sorry, sorry, I get it now. Yeah. Are you for squeeing over there? No, it's my bird.
Yeah,
it's my bird. It's my big fat boy.
You're gonna hear the birds commentary in the background.
He's over there. I'm trying to like shoo him away. Shoo. Shoot, you know what I mean? He's like, he goes to me, he's going to me, fuck you, Zam. I'm gonna make so much fucking noise. You're gonna be pissed off with me beyond belief. Shoo, 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 shoo.
But the thing
There we
too
go.
is a lot of people don't understand like the talent it takes to change your voice, like and have it go into higher octaves and lower octaves. That's a skill right there that is hard to match, you know, because you would think Kevin Conroy is so good, you would think that when he's voicing Bruce Wayne and he's Batman, it's two different people, but it's actually the same person. I mean, it takes a lot of skill to do something like that.
Yeah, for sure. So when we finally got to see him in the flesh as
I was
as
just gonna
Bat-
bring that up. Yeah, keep going.
because like there was, honestly this is for me like one of the biggest disservices he's ever got. Look, I know physically he might not necessarily look like Batman. That's probably one of the most unfortunate things. But I think you could have easily made him, in my opinion, the Bruce Wayne from Batman Beyond period. He would have been nailed on perfect for that, you know, in my opinion. And but the fact is that we got like a renegade Batman, somebody who was very bitter. Well, Batman's always been very bitter, but you know what I mean. Like he kind of like crossed the line and his interactions with his cousin and who's Batwoman and as well as Supergirl. It was terrible, in my opinion. It's a shame because people were so looking forward to seeing Kevin Conroy in live action as Bruce Wayne, as Batman, and that's what we got. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Wesley White, have you seen that episode?
Yeah, that was disappointing. And then for him to go out like he did, that was kind of a letdown for me when I saw it. I mean, it was cool to see him in the flesh as Bruce Wayne, but at the same time, how his character was and how bitter he was, it was. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, he end up electrocuting himself? Is that correct? Is that how he died? Yeah. Like, if we're talking about Batman here, he's that stupid to electrocute himself, regardless of what version of him we're getting. He's usually on top of things. Jose, did you see that episode?
No, I did not, and it's probably better that I don't. It's one of those things where it's just like
I mean,
I'm gonna leave the memories alone. I mean, I might see it one of these days, but I don't plan on
as I
it
said,
anytime soon.
the Crisis on Infinite Earths wasn't terrible, but that was definitely the low point for it. When they were, I think it was like in part 3 or something. Like it was definitely the low point. I agree. I mean, we were all super excited to see him in that, and then he's like Robo Batman because he's got the exoskeleton on, and he's like, "Come with me if you want to die," or I don't know, you know, like. It was so bad, so bad, and I felt so bad for Kevin Conroy because I knew that this was going to be one of the only chances we were going to get to see him as like the Bruce Wayne. Even in like I didn't expect when they announced that he was going to be playing Bruce Wayne, I didn't expect them to put him in the suit. I really didn't. Like I wasn't expecting, oh, we're going to see Kevin Conroy in the bat suit. No, I didn't expect that at all. But I would have loved to have seen like a Bruce Wayne that's not bitter or stupid. Like and I don't blame Conroy for this at all. This was all the writing. Conroy probably did the best he could with a shitty situation, and that and they're yeah, I don't know.
In hindsight, as I said earlier, like doing the Batman Beyond would have been a far better thing. Getting a live action Terry McGinnis, I think people would have lost their shit over that as well. You know what I mean? I'm still hoping that they would do that because I sometimes feel like DC forgets how popular Batman Beyond is as well. Just to go on a little tangent here, like they had to make up their own unique villains for this because Batman Beyond wasn't any sort of comic book iteration, and they wanted to make a young hip Batman, and obviously they couldn't do that with Bruce Wayne because his past is very scorched, so to speak. So they brought in a new character, gave him new villains, stuff like that, but they still brought in Bruce Wayne as the mentor, and yeah, that was just something that unfortunately that will never happen now because that trick's been missed. Luckily, Kevin Conroy has played old Bruce Wayne in the animated versions, and wait, you're killing me here, mate. You're killing me here. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was a very very good show, and once again he gave us another version of Kevin Conroy playing Batman. We've had him play youngish Batman, middle-aged Batman, old Batman. Even there was a point where he got into a suit, I believe, like some sort of metal suit, which kind of like foreshadowed what Ben Affleck was going to wear in Batman versus Superman, so to speak. So yeah, just amazing stuff. And even then, when he played old Batman, like there was a voice to him. And I remember, sorry for going on so much, but I remember in one scene where old Batman meets young Batman. You know, like the two different versions.
Time
And old
paradox.
Batman, yeah, maybe, but I just remember like young Batman is trying to get information out of this dude and he can't get it, and old Batman is able to get it, and it just kind of showed you that old Batman still had, some tricks up his sleeves. You know what I mean? That he was able to impress his younger self. Yeah, I fucking loved it. Just absolutely brilliant. So many good memories. So many, like the definitive Batman for sure, because there was so much of him. There's just so many variations of him, and you just can't get enough. 3 decades worth.
The funniest thing is in one of the movies, like I saw it on Twitter this morning, it was a scene of where Joker, I think, finally got Batman to laugh at one of his jokes. It was something about like two guys crossing a bridge, and like Batman just loses his shit and he grabs the Joker. And it's like, that's something you never thought you'd see, is like Batman.
I think that was from The Killing Joke, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was from The Killing Joke. Yeah.
Oh, that's not. But see, I had. Look, I'll be honest with you. I had a problem with that because he just paralyzed fucking Barbara Gordon. You know what I mean? And then now Batman's gonna be laughing at his fucking jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just kill the fucker for once in your life. And without going.
Hey, what do you think this is? Michael Keaton tribute show? No, this is Kevin Conroy. He don't kill foos.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, depending on what version you have of Batman, but I think Ben Affleck killed people in his.
Yeah.
And theoretically, Val Kilmer did kill Two-Face. I'm not sure if he killed anybody else, but he definitely killed Two-Face.
But Kevin Conroy's a good guy. We don't kill people here. We don't do that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You can be the definitive Batman and not kill people. I'm not saying it should, but it's just like, that's the thing. It's like, how many missteps can we say Kevin Conroy did as Batman? One?
A few.
And that's not even Batman.
A few.
Did he?
Yeah. Like Batman Vengeance, the video game. That was back on PS2. That was a good game. Don't get me wrong. It was okay, but the controls were kind of clunky. But him, Mark Hamill, and Arlene Sorkin at the time, I don't think it was Tara Strong, the original Harley voice. She was the voice of Harley on that game. And then the other one that was kind of disappointing was Batman Rise of the Senzu Being. Actually, it's called Rise of Senzu. Oh, okay. Cheeto, you remember that?
I do remember that one.
Oh, yeah. And then Gotham Knight, that one animated movie.
Oh, yeah, he was in that. Oh.
Yeah. Even though he's had most hits, there have been some misses, and those are a few.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite films with him in it was Batman Beyond: The Return of the Joker, and like that part where Tim Drake is turned into Mini Joker, and you can see how like distraught Batman is, and he said you thought to yourself, this is the time he's going to finally do it. He's going to finally kill the Joker, and it ended up being Tim Drake who killed him.
Two different versions too.
Yeah, there's two different versions, but Tim Drake. I mean, it's funny way. Did he have was he a clone of the original Joker? I mean, because he had like so much of the mannerisms of the old Joker. Like he almost felt like he was imprinted into him, so to speak, when he grew up. But at that particular time, it would have been so nice if Batman had killed him instead of Tim Drake.
It's one of those regrets, and you're like, man, just one time. If there was ever a time, this was that time.
Well, this is my problem. This is my problem with Batman. Everyone's scared the shit out of him. He hasn't killed a single fucker in those.
Yeah,
universes.
but he can lay a hurting on people. Like, I mean, laying a hurting on somebody still will put fear in them. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess so, but like some people like they I just feel like they are scared to death, literally. You know what I mean? But why would they be scared to death? It's a bit like being afraid of the cops. Cops that don't kill you, that is, which is a rarity in your part of the world. But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just don't be scared. Like worry about him. Obviously, stuff like that. He is a menace, but he's like a one man gang, so to speak. A very good one. So yeah, and Jim.
I agree.
If Ginger came in,
Ginger, shut up. Go back to sleep.
It's like that meme says, I won't kill you, but your hospital bills will.
Ginger's too woke to actually show up, I guess. I don't know.
For real. Why are you here?
Why aren't you awake? Anyway, sorry, what were you saying, Marcus?
No, I was saying, it's like that meme. Batman's like, I won't kill you, but your hospital bills will.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that the Arkham games portrayed really well was the fact that I won't kill you, but
your medical bills will kill you.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, like he like some of the damage he might have done to people. How does he know that he's not permanently scarring people for life? Even though he doesn't
I'm pretty sure he doesn't care if he's permanently scarring them.
Dude, he don't.
As long as they live, he technically didn't kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's just sleeping.
He's like, not dead.
As long as he can put
he's just sleeping.
It's just sleeping. As long as he can put that fear of God in them, that's what matters. Like, okay, yeah, you're going to take your ass to church after this when this is over. When I get done with you, you're going to be in church. You're going to be begging for mercy.
What is it with DC superheroes? They're supposed to be the darker and more dangerous types. But you think about, like I'll give you 4 examples of people who don't kill. Batman, Superman, The Flash, and Green Lantern. Like, what the fuck's up with that? You know what I mean? None of these guys are killers in any capacity. So fucking stupid.
For Batman, I think it's like more of a moral compass kind of thing. Like he's like,
well,
I could, but I'm not going to do that type of thing.
It's a halfway BS because when he was first created in 1939, Batman did kill. But then the Comics Code Authority came in and said, no, we don't want Batman to kill. Kids read these comic books, so you have to change it. And so they changed Batman's moral code because of that.
Oh, yeah.
And go on.
Okay, I've got another blunder. And I hate to bring this up. Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. Oh, it hurt me to say that. I
don't think Kevin Conroy was the voice of Batman on that one, was he?
I don't think he was, but even so, it's a blunder for Batman. So I'm like,
blunder for Batman, not for Kevin Conroy.
But not for Kevin Conroy.
But Batman had many blunders. I mean, Adam West would be one of them. I thought the Joker left an imprinted personality in Tim's brain, brought it out with a silicone. Yeah. It was something like that. Yeah, I mean, because in a way, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, but for sure, something like that, because he actually physically looked like the old Joker as well. Like his whole appearance started to change. But yeah, when Tim Drake started laughing like that, ha 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 ha, and then he just started laughing like the old Joker, like fucking brilliant. And the way, and theoretically, Terry McGinnis killed him. You know what I mean, by destroying that chip, which was the personality of that particular Joker. So. You look at it how you want. I'm coughing like who wants to be a millionaire cheater. Yeah, if you guys know, you know.
God, you're old.
Oh god, that was great. Kari Hughes, how about I won't kill you, but you'll never walk the same way again.
That too, he'll leave him limping.
Yeah, like I'd rather be dead than not be able to walk. You know what I mean? I need my legs, so I can get to the kebab shop. The CCA, fuck those guys. Just a creation by Marvel and DC to cripple smaller companies. Fair enough. So yeah, anything more to add, fellas? It's been a lovely discussion regarding this great man who has really put, in my opinion, animated voice work on the map. But I don't think people really necessarily appreciated voice work as much as until they heard Kevin Conroy, and especially hearing him come back in the video games, as well as Mark Hamill as well, by the way, whose career was rejuvenated from after Star Wars, when he was really going nowhere as an actor, doing low budget shit, seeing there's the Star Wars has been. Sorry,
no. His career was rejuvenated when he was the trickster on The Flash in 1990.
Yep, I was just going to say that.
Yep. No, I'm kidding. You're right, Sam. The Joker revitalized his career.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because that for us was the closest we were ever going to, I mean, not the 90s version, I'm talking about the CW version. That was the closest we were ever going to get to Mark Hamill playing a live action version of the Joker to a degree as well, which yeah, by the way, the fucking trickster was awful. Oh my god. Oh god. Yeah, so thank you very much for that, Ginge, because I was watching the first half, but I had to do this, So Hamill and Conroy,
definitive. Yep.
Batman and Joker for sure.
Learn to spell, damn it.
And
Yeah, right. Like
I know, and Tara Strong as well. I mean, you got to put all three of them in there together.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anything more to add, fellas?
All that can be said is Kevin. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there will never be another Batman voice actor like Kevin Conroy, because let's face it, how many Batman animated actors have there been? Quite a few, from the video games to even other TV shows. And the only one that really comes close was probably the one from Young Justice. I like that Batman voice.
Is that Bruce
I can't remember if
Greenwood?
it's Roger Craig Smith or the guy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think I forgot his name.
Give me the name and I can look it up of what the show was. Or
yeah, I got it.
Young Justice. Okay.
Peter Weller himself,
Bruce
aka
Greenwood,
Robocop.
I think is his name.
I was say it's Bruce Greenwood, I think, but yeah,
I want to say it's Bruce
Greenwood is
Greenwood.
an excellent Batman.
Yeah, but like I said, there's never been another voice actor like Kevin Conroy. And for a bit of trivia, he was the very first animated Batman to change his voice. And the inspiration for changing Batman's voice has to go back to another cool Batman, Michael Keaton, because he was the first live-action Batman to change his voice as Batman. And when they were doing the blueprint for the animated series, they looked to the Burton films as inspiration, and that's part of the reason why Kevin Conroy changed his voice as Batman and differentiate from Bruce Wayne to Batman.
Yeah, makes
Bruce
sense.
Greenwood is the Batman you were talking about. Wesley. So,
and you know what, it does, because I mean there have been other people, as you mentioned, and it almost feels wrong sometimes when you know that Kevin Conroy was out there. Why the fuck is Kevin Conroy not voicing Batman? I mean, Peter Weller, Robocop himself, did the Dark Knight Return movies and stuff like that, those animated films, where at one point he goes up against Superman, and once again he's also wearing that metal suit, which foreshadows what Ben Affleck was going to wear in Batman versus Superman. And
that was Robo Batman.
Yeah, Robo Batman. Yeah, for sure.
RoboCop Peter Weller.
But yeah, for a little while I was like, it felt a bit weird hearing his voice and not Kevin. I did get obviously over that very quickly, and I was totally fine with it. But initially, it felt like if it wasn't Kevin Conroy, then it wasn't right. Now I'm hoping in the future they do find those people who've got those Kevin Conroy tones. Like for instance, the guy who played the voice of Slinky in Toy Story, the original actor died, but they got an actor to replace who stepped in, who sounded exactly like, who was able to do the voice exactly like Slinky from the original Toy Story film for Toy Story 4. So that's what I want in the future. Like Kevin Conroy set the bar. That's the voice for Batman. Everyone else in the future needs to basically copy that voice. And same with Mark Hamill's Joker too, when it comes to animated.
I have to disagree with you. I really don't want people to copy Kevin Conroy. I want them to put the love and care into the Batman voice that Kevin Conroy did.
But put
their own effort into it.
Make it their own.
But I want them to make it their own. And there will never be another. It's just like, it goes back to the whole Will Smith versus Robin Williams genie argument. I'm glad that, Will Smith did his own thing with the genie, because you will never emulate Robin Williams' genie. And it's kind of the same thing here. You will never live up to and emulate Kevin Conroy's Batman. However, you can make it your own. You can take inspiration from Kevin Conroy, but just, it's just like Mark Hamill's Joker. Nobody can do it. Nobody.
Yeah. You know what? I actually agree with you. Come to think of it, I was being a bit narrow-minded, but I do go back to oh my god, why is the name escaping me now? The actor who played Bones in the Kelvin universe,
Carl Urban.
Like he did basically a like for like of DeForest Kelly's Leonard McCoy. And
I think
loved
that's
it.
Although the exception to the rule, and also it's live action too. It's I feel like it's a little bit different between live, because you can have anyone go and revoice like Batman the Animated Series, but you'll know because the voice will be off, and even if they're impersonating Kevin Conroy, you'll know that they'll be off. But you're right. Carl Urban was a great Bones. Perfect. I loved it better than the original Bones, truth be told.
Yeah, the impersonation was so good. Before we wrap things up, let's listen to hear what this fucker has to say. The inspiration for Conroy's deep voice is a hard childhood where he smoked heavy and drank from a young age. Yeah, damn right. He did sound like he smoked 40 a day. Kevin Conroy is a standard to which all other voice actors aspire.
I agree.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
Blake Clark,
yeah, I knew what you were talking about.
that talks gibberish, and Adam Sandler's film took over as Lincoln. He sounds exactly like Jim Varney. That's it, yeah. Yeah, exactly exactly. I mean, yeah, it's an understatement. Yeah, you wouldn't have thought the actor had changed if you weren't told, if you didn't know. Cousin Cheesy, yeah, I agree with that. Don't copy,
make it
take
yours.
this. Yeah, I agree with that too. I agree
Yeah,
with
it's
that
just
too.
like
Sorry,
live action with Joker.
I guess my affiliation and my appreciation for Kevin Conroy made me a bit narrow-minded, but yeah, I agree with you guys. Bring in the new, leave their own mark, and maybe we'll have somebody who could replicate Kevin Conroy, not replicate, but could leave a legacy like Kevin Conroy for the next 30, 40 years. Yeah, full 5 points clear, fantastic, and that's a good way to end the episode, knowing that my team are now top of the league by 5 times.
All I can say is that Kevin Conroy is a once-in-a-lifetime generational talent that will never be matched. And we're going to miss the vengeance. We're going to miss the night. And quite frankly, we're going to miss Batman.
Yeah.
That's all that can be said.
Anything else, fellas, before we wrap this bad boy up?
Nope. Go and binge watch your Batman the Animated Series.
And play the Arkham games.
Watch it where you can, whether it's on HBO, whether I don't know if it's on HBO Max, whether it's on Blu-ray. Show your love to Kevin Conroy because he is absolutely out there watching over from the gargoyles above Gotham City.
Play the Arkham games and watch the Injustice. Watch the Injustice. And I'm not sure about the animated, but I'm not sure if he did the voice for that. But he did he do the voice for the animated film Injustice?
Which was 1 second. I'm right there.
That was absolutely
Injustice.
awful.
No.
And I wanted to add, didn't he do something like the follow-up to like Batman and Superman? Because wasn't that the follow-up to the animated series? In like the later 90s, early 2000s, it was something like Batman and Superman had like their own TV show.
Yeah, Batman and
Superman Adventures.
Yeah. Was he in
that crossover? Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Pretty much, he was a part of the entire Bruce Timm verse. I mean, for Batman Beyond, even when he showed up in Static Shock, he was Kevin Conroy. But that was in Bruce Timm's verse. That was the definitive Batman. I don't think they ever strayed from that. It was always Conroy.
It was always Conroy since the 90s.
And even in the animated movies later on in 2017 and 2019, which was Batman and Harley Quinn and Justice League and the Fateful Five, those were animated direct-to-DVD releases, but that was still Conroy in there as Batman.
Yeah, the Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Justice League.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Cara Hughes.
Yeah, you're welcome.
She's off. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place.
I'm off to go binge too once we're done.
Yeah. Once again, as I said earlier, Injustice, the video game, just watch the cutscenes on YouTube. You have a much better time watching it as a film than playing that particular game. But I will agree with Jose, play the Arkham games because as it's predominantly Batman, you do hear Kevin Conroy's voice when he's thinking to himself, he's talking to himself. It's just brilliant. Those little moments and stuff like that when he's being a detective. There's so much. It's just fantastic. All right. So thank you very much, fellas. It's been a lovely ensemble here.
I just want to throw in there,
yes, he did do Public Enemies.
He did do Public Enemies, which is one of my favorite comic books of the Batman Superman World's Finest Comics, as well as one of my favorite animated movies. Watch that one. That's a great one. Okay, go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
No, but he didn't do Run DMC. Anyway, as I always like to say before we end the show, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Take care. And we'll see you guys very soon with a review for Wakanda Forever. Bye-bye.